Hey guys, Coach Dan here. It's a busy one today. We just got to get the workout in, right? So today's a push day. So I've got some bench pressing, some other pressing, got some exercises to switch in and out. And yeah, this is one of those days where you just got to get it in. We just show up, we get it in, you fit it into a tight schedule. We just know it's for a greater outcome, right? We've got a goal. We have to stick to the goal. We've got a plan. We stick to the plan. You just get in, get it done, and then get on with things, right? So today would be a very easy day for me to just go, oh, nah, I won't film or I won't train or whatever it might be because I've got to go from here to there to here to there, here to there, and it's a really busy day, or I'll keep putting it off. But no, we have goals and we want to hit those goals. And again, we just want to stay in the routine, right? We've prioritized. We've got a plan. We're prepared for the plan. Now we just got to kind of get in and get it done to be consistent with it, right? So we're going push day. Got a couple of new changes from last week, as well as some old classics. So let's get into it. This push day starts off the same as last week, because this one's still jacking my chest up. So I have the Cambered bar, low incline. So I'm on the first incline here, bench press. Cambered bar, this dink in the bar, which I'll flip around when we start pressing in a second, allows for a larger range and therefore a bigger stretch through the chest. So there's some recent research that's come out recently which discusses the importance of training in the stretch position. So not every exercise has to be maximally stretched, but I got this little toy for this gym and I quite like this exercise. Reduces the amount of weight that you can lift, but again, it's not all about weight. We're after stimulus for muscle growth. So if we can get more stimulus from less weight, that's even a good thing, because then there's less stress on joints and less fatigue and all that kind of stuff. So for this one, grab just outside the dint in the bar or the camber in the bar. Comes up over chest. Everything is the same as with a standard incline. We just go through a larger range, get a deeper stretch to the chest. So all the same cues apply. Control on the way down. Feel the chest hold that tension when you're bringing it down, or the eccentric portion of it. Feel the chest stretch out. Keep it engaged, and then again push with the chest as well. So we will go one more warm-up set and we should be ready to go. So with this one, again, not every gym will have a bar like this. So in that instance, things like dumbbells can get us a good similar option. You can kind of get outside the level of your chest, feel that big stretch. Dumbbell flies, things of that nature. Some other chest press variations, like the one I'll do later on, which we put the yoga block. Again, we get that big stretch there. So you don't need maximal stretch all the time. It's just at least in part of your training, we should try and get through a good length and position for each muscle group. All right, one more practice set, and then set one. Sweet. Happy with that? 2 top set in a sort of low to moderate rep range, you might call it, 5 to 10. And then I like to reduce the load for this one for 10 to 15. So 2 top sets, 5 to 10 reps, all pretty close to failure, all pretty challenging sets. And then another set, reduce the load, go a little bit higher in the reps, finish everything off. So I like that kind of method. So yeah, something to keep in mind with this one, because of this increased range of motion. It doesn't mean you just go to excessive range that your joints can't. You'll essentially go to your best range of motion or your most stretched position. So if you have any kind of injury, you feel joint pain, that's a no-go immediately. But if not, this can be an awesome exercise. And again, some of the other variations could be like a dumbbell press, where we get the dumbbells right outside the level of the chest, get that deep stretch through the chest, press up from there. Or a good machine chest press. I put a yoga block behind my back for the what upcoming, so either of those could be really good options. But yeah, all right, let's move on to machine chest press next. So cambered bar bench press time, that's probably the best it's felt. So that's an important thing. Sometimes people want to change between movements and movements really quickly, but really they don't give themselves enough time to get better at it. Like, that's the best it felt. That was 1 rep up on last week. Last week I had to do that workout at about 3:30 in the morning, so maybe that was a factor, but still, sometimes we just have to do a movement for a long enough period of time that you kind of get the swing of it, gets to feel good for you, and then you can make progress with it, not necessarily changing things week to week to week to week, not really getting better at anything. So sticking at something for a long enough period of time, as long as the obvious things are there, like it's training the right muscle group, you don't have joint pain, things like that, keep it around sometimes for 4, 6, 8 weeks before you consider going, actually this is crap. Unless, yeah, joint pain. So it's almost like an immediate sacking. Okay, so we go from a low incline bench press over there to a machine press horizontally. So again, just changing that angle slightly, make sure we're ticking all the boxes here. Yoga block goes behind the back for me for that increased stretch, increased range of motion. I set myself up, so this is kind of like mid-chest level. And then press out hard, control the way in for that deep stretch, tap, press out hard. Big focus on the chest. So this one I'm upping the rep range as well. So now all the sets here are going to be 10 to 15. 2 sets only, 2 sets of the next chest exercise for this whole workout. So it's 3, 2, 2, what's that, 7 total. I do that 2 times per week, 14 total sets, and that seems to work for me at the moment. So just keep marching on. All right, little break here, and then we'll go to our working weight for the day. 2 sets, 10 to 15 reps. Feeling good today. It's good to feel good. So 2 sets done there. Performance isn't going up there necessarily, but still feeling it still feels effective. On the other one, it is getting better. So at least I know I'm getting better in this muscle group. So if you're going to use a yoga block directly behind the shoulder blades, it allows that big stretch through the chest. If you've got a different chest press machine, maybe you get enough stretch, you don't need this, but for our one here, this allows that little extra stretch. Okay, 1 chest exercise to go. Bringing the machine fly back in, classic. All right, machine fly next. So, good thing about being so anal about logging my stuff is I know exactly what weight I was at last time I was on this machine. So I know where I'm going to go back to. Some things that have changed since I last did it, I know for sure, is that I want to angle this a little bit higher. So with the chest kind of all comes down to a particular point on your arm, but then it kind of angles to different points on your chest, right? So some of it comes up towards the collarbone or clavicle, some in towards the sternum, and some down towards the ribs and that fascia that goes through the abdominal area. So when training the chest, it might be prudent to make sure we're angling things in different directions to make sure we're ticking all those boxes. So like I've done an incline press, I've done a flat press, and now I'm doing a fly. For me, I am trying to work towards the upper part of the chest a little bit more than the rest. Kind of got like a significant lower tit, but a bit of a gap in here. So I'm trying to kind of work towards in there a little bit more. So for this, different from when I was last on here, so I might be different as far as strength goes. Seat is nice and low, therefore handles are high. Bring the shoulders towards one another. Control, big stretch. So a soft bend at the elbow here can also help chill the bicep out a little bit, because the bicep being a muscle that passes into the shoulder can also contribute to this. So if you're fully straight with the arm, there's potential to feel a big stretch and some tension on the bicep. So soft elbow, make it about bringing the arm across, and we're using the chest for this one. This one, I'm going to potentially even higher rep range, so 10 to 20, and I know around about what my weight is going to be, but it might take a set or two to find that, right? So yeah, big stretch at the back. I'm angling a little bit towards the top part of my chest by sitting low and having the handles come high, but if you wanted to do it differently, directly horizontal, you'd come to the same level. That's just what my focus is here. All right, 2 sets here. All right, nice one. That feels excellent. Good to be back. So first set, that was equal to what I've done weight-wise on here before. Didn't really count that last rep of the first set, but that's a good sign. Changed my technique a little. Key tips here, soft elbow, I think, just lets the bicep chill out so we can focus mainly on your chest or your pec, and going through a good range of motion so we get this big stretch at the back. So everyone's got different mobility. If your shoulders feel a bit sore going all the way back here, come a notch forward. If that's better, go from there. If it's still not, come a notch forward. But yeah, finding that big stretch through the chest definitely has some value. And just angle or line it up such that it's kind of targeting the part of the chest that you want it to, so you can adjust the seat for that. So there is some potential merit for me to come even up on this frame. But as I look at that, maybe that'll be a little bit too high. All right, delts next, shoulders next. All right, next up, low incline lying cable lateral raise. So I'm here with the functional trainer, or the small cable lateral raise machine. I've got my bench on the lowest incline, and I'm doing a cable lateral raise variation where I lay down. Now, I'm still trying to figure this one out a little bit, but essentially my logic runs like this when choosing a lateral deltoid exercise, is essentially if I am doing this motion such that I follow the path and my arm will miss the back of my head, I would consider that, just in this kind of area here, to be pretty effective for the lateral deltoid. If my arm was to come towards my chin or face or anything like that, we're probably working in towards the anterior delt more so. And there's obviously crossover. So when I'm setting up the height of the cable machine, the bench, things like that, that's how I'm trying to make it such that I'm training the lateral deltoid, the side part of the shoulder mainly. So for this one, grab each side of this cable machine, lay back with it, raising into that position. So I'm setting a height which I think when I finish the motion is going to have me kind of miss the back of my head to make it as lateral deltoid as possible. But this is the second week I've done this, still trying to figure it out myself. So I've gone from a higher height to a lower height just because with a bit of practice I've kind of found that sweet spot, and that's sometimes how it is with exercises. So it takes a bit of practice sometimes. This is week 2. See if I can get a little better than last week, and then a little better next week, and so on and so forth, right? But that's the logic. Essentially, if we're doing a lateral raise variation, we want to go up such that my arm would be passing or missing the back of my head. But if we go too far back and it starts to do that, then you encourage the rear delt to kind of get in the game and kind of help out. So kind of finding that kind of motion there where it's going to pass the head, kind of like a swingy kind of motion. Not back like that and not in towards the chin like that. So a bit complicated, but yeah, feel it out. You do a set. If it feels like it's targeting the right muscle, you're in probably a good spot. Okay, I do 5 sets here, so let's get ready for the long haul. Okay, that one's hectic. I really like that. So I kept essentially taking the cable machine lower and lower, and I kept feeling better and better. So I'm going to take that all the way to the bottom, note that down, that it's always at the bottom. So yeah, essentially we want to make it such that I'm getting into a position where my arm is kind of, if you were to carry that path on, obviously you can't carry it on because your body doesn't continue to go, and your cable kind of runs into yourself, but it's kind of going to miss the back of your head. So it would kind of go like that. Now, the upcoming exercise, shoulder press, is for the anterior delt, mainly. So now we want to have that. You'll see in a second come towards the head so the anterior delt gets in the game. So lateral delt, kind of taking the arm away, missing them behind the head, essentially, somewhere in that kind of area-ish. And then rear delt's going to be doing some of the stuff towards the back. So trying to work those in all their different functions, make sure you work the whole thing. But again, you just try it, see what feels good for you. If you feel like you're stimulating what you're trying to stimulate, you're probably in a good spot. There was a bit of chatter around lying down on benches or having a bench when doing lateral raise variations, like a back-supported machine lateral raise as well. That locking onto the scapulars is not a good idea, but feels good to me. We'll see how it goes over the course of time, but I have no reason to stop doing that. That one's real nice. All right, shoulder press next. Okay, we move on to plate-loaded shoulder press as we listen to some Russian heavy metal. So as mentioned with the lateral raise from before, if I'm focusing on the lateral delt, I want my arm to kind of go towards the side, and if it would continue through its full range, it'll kind of miss the back of my head. That'll help you work the side part of the shoulder. So 3 parts of the shoulder, lateral, pretty much. There's some more breaking down of that even, but let's just say 3 general parts. So lateral, anterior or front and rear the back, and the lateral, which we did before, which is that kind of out to the side, missing the back of the head. Now we're going more anterior delt. So now we want the arm or shoulder kind of aiming towards the head to best use that anterior part of the delt. Now the anterior delt also works in a lot of your pressing movements, flies, all that kind of stuff. We've already done a lot of that today, so this is just going to be a couple of sets to kind of cap that off, make it the focus. With this one, you'll get triceps as well. So for me, neutral grip, pressing up, my shoulder or arm are coming towards my head. That kind of has us in the right spot. So again, arm or shoulder in towards the head. You think about the muscle or the anterior deltoid pulling your arm towards your head. So if we kept going, we're going to collide with the head. It's been a little while since I've done this one, and I'm going to go for a higher rep range, so not a stack of weight on this one. I might do 2 or 3 sets, see how I'm feeling after those 2 or 3, and then check in. So should be good. Looking forward to this one. This one here has quite good resistance. It's quite hard at the bottom and easier as it kind of gets above the hinge, so that's a good thing. All right, maybe one more practice and then I'll hit my first set. So a couple of key pointers about this. I take my bench, set it all the way to the top, like I'm not super tall, but that allows a good stretch through the anterior delts because you get nice and low into it if your seat is up high. The other thing is as you're pressing, I don't think about just pressing the weight up. I think about my anterior deltoid or my shoulder pulling my arm towards my body. So we're kind of going in that path there. It's just pressing it up. And if you just want to get strong and you just want to do the heavier and heavy weight, yeah, you just think about pressing up as hard as you can. If we're trying to focus on a particular muscle, think about that muscle while you do it. Okay, I know it's there, something like that, and it's pulling my arm towards my head. So that's what I'm doing, angling my arm towards my head. All right, let's go triceps, smashing it out. This is my lying cable skull crusher. So I've got this box here because the benches aren't tall enough. I've got a straight bar set down here at the bottom of the cable machine. So what we're going to do, we're going to lean back, butt right at the end of the box. Reach back for the bar, find the bar, make sure it's all set and ready to go. And then it's just a skull crusher variation using the cable machine. So started to do this one maybe half a year ago, found it really effective. I've had it rotating in and out of my program ever since. You could just do a standard barbell version. The setup on this can be a little bit difficult, finding the correct spot, finding the correct height, all that kind of stuff, but I found it to be very effective, so I always come back to this one. I like dumbbell skull crushers. I like easy bar skull crushers. I like a lot of the different variations of skull crushers, but I would have to say if I had to choose one that feels the most effective, this is it. So it always comes in and out of my rotation depending on how things are feeling with it, how the strength's going and stuff like that. Definitely worth a shot, but yeah, got to get the setup correct, got to get the height correct, got to do all these things, but worth a try for sure. All right, again, another long haul here, 5 sets. All right, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. So I actually finished that workout up about 6 or 7 hours ago, then had to rush off to my strength and conditioning job. So finished off with unfilmed 2 sets of a tricep push-down variation and 2 sets of an upright row variation, which I can put in a card just here, or however YouTube works. I'll put a card up here so you can see those from last week. So all in all, really happy with that workout. Really fun. Everything felt good. The last couple of days, maybe it's been a bit of a grind, a bit tough, but today made it all worth it. So felt really good about things. So sometimes I think that's just the way it has to be. Sometimes you have to get through the tough times and, just grind it out. And then when it's good, it's beautiful, it's fun, it's all great. So yeah, it's the analogy or metaphor I like to give, it's like a wave. Like sometimes you're at the top of the wave, you're loving it, it's feeling great, you're smashing it out, you're motivated, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you're at the bottom of the wave and you just have to keep hanging in there and keep staying with it, because it's going to come back around and the wave's going to go back up. So just stick with it, you'll feel better eventually. So, but after all that, then you know what you got tomorrow, or what I got tomorrow? Deadlifts. So maybe I'll be crying tomorrow and eating my words that I'm saying now. But anyway, that's future me's problem. Remember, it's all about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.